It's literally an online service where you buy underwear. So it's
if you start promoting them, then before they sponsor you, then maybe they'll sponsor.
No one wants to sponsor this podcast.
I don't know. This is the AWKWARDCast, maybe sponsored by Meundies. Hello and welcome everybody to the AWKWARDCast, ANY and Keyframe Wonderbout Random Dribble. And today with us, the Anna, the Chloe, the M. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, so who are you three? Why? What do you do? And why should people care?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not sure. Am I talking to Anna, Chloe, or M? Okay, I stop it. I stop it right now. I stop it right now.
These are ANY zingers, and you just need to tolerate them. I am here to be
Bazinga!
the buffer.
I was like, there's three of us. Are we gonna go in a circle? But okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay, but for reals, who are you? What do you do? And why should people care?
Okay. I'm Anna. I do voice acting and singing, and I hope people care about stuff I do. But yeah, I'm terrible at trying to plug myself.
But this is
What's some key stuff you voiced?
I just want to say, this is your one chance in the show to really promote yourself, because we have a tradition of ending the show abruptly without leaving room for it. So
what's some of the great things the great Anna has voiced in?
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a voice actress. I've voiced in a couple of Pymations videos. I was Tracer. I also was the bird shopkeeper that everyone wanted to do.
Thank you very much.
In the Bird Town News.
Bravo.
I
did you voice like this? And I was like,
you know.
I got to push you off a cliff in this episode.
yeah, that's very true.
I think this is the first project me and Anna voiced in together.
I mean, there aren't even too many, are there?
Unless it was a Scribbler video.
Yeah, in all probability it was this or a
Animation,
Scribbler
for
video. First animation, yeah.
Yeah.
For most healing done.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful.
But yeah, you voiced the bird owner that everyone wants to lewd.
Really, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and haven't you voiced in a few games?
Special report with Chip
A couple of games, yes. Although I'm not sure if they're mainstream success, but I've voiced in Ancestry and Solarix, and I've also other YouTube videos. I was also in a PopTunes TV video. There we go. Have you ever seen a PopTunes TV video?
I've seen a PopTunes video.
Pop.
Yeah, that face is basically the description. No, Max, no.
Do you know who I was?
We will get Twitch banned.
Really, no.
Do you know who I was?
Who were you? Were you Taylor Swift?
No, you should guess. It's really funny.
Was it some pop star?
No.
Okay, what was it?
Ellen DeGeneres. I know.
Anyway, how was your week?
My week's been okay. I've been my other job I have aside from voice acting is I teach kids like music and stuff. But I teach kids. Yeah, I teach kids. I do like drama classes and musical theatre classes, and yeah, it's been quite a week.
Any funny anecdotes? Like, did someone fall butt first into a bucket or something?
No, that's like the kind of thing I do. But
Oh, still with me,
comes
guys?
into our like studio space. He just comes in, he drops his bag, and he goes, "I need the toilet," and just runs around the corner. And he's just a pleasant character to have around.
Children are just ripe with
Well, no, but
stories.
he's 11, so I mean, he's not like full, bless him. He's quite a character, I'd say. I'm trying to think. Oh, and although this is like this other funny story is like a really, it sounds like such a stereotypical girl thing, and I don't want to stereotype myself as a girl, but
wait, you are a girl? Key, you didn't tell me she's a girl.
Oh my god!
You couldn't tell?
I mean, Anna is such a unisex name nowadays.
Did you just assume her gender?
Don't tell Tumblr. Don't tell Tumblr.
Okay.
I'm gonna Tumblr shame you.
Sorry, too easy, low-hanging fruit. But so yeah, what's the stereotypical girly thing that you did?
I was buying a lip balm in a drugstore, as you Americans. Well, I say not all Americans, sorry, but it's called Superdrug over here in the UK, if anyone does know it. And I went in, and there was like an eyeshadow palette like the size of my forearm, just like sitting
Who
there.
needs that much?
It was ridiculous. It was like that, yeah, literally about that big, and I just was like, what? And I was like,
buy
oh, yeah,
it?
I bet that's like 40 quid, like, you know, like $50, you know. Well, you know, I bet that's so expensive. And then I looked at the price next to it, and I was like, it was £12. And then like I was just looking at it, I was trying to work it out. I was like, what? But why is it so? It must be and then the whole time there was this lady, like the cashier lady, she was like, excuse me, can you come over and pay for your things? I was just entranced by whatever I was just looking at, just going like,
That
what?
sounds like the makeup that's destined to give you some kind of sty or eye infection.
I know.
They just put germs in it and color it with
a
dye.
decent brand. I was just trying to work it out. I was like, there's like 80 colors there. What's happening? Something's
Who needs
wrong.
that many colors for their eyes.
I just stopped working. My brain stopped working. It was like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense to me. Makeup is stupidly expensive. I guess that's the moral of the story.
Yeah, that is the moral, and that's why you don't use it.
I do love a trusty lip balm, though.
I mean, chapstick. That's my lip balm.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Oh, it is? I thought lip balm. Oh, I'm thinking of lip gloss. That's just the liquid. Okay. It's sad that all the makeup I own is just for cosplay. I have no other reason to wear makeup in my life.
I just saw Magical Star Flash's comment, clowns that need that many colours.
That's very true.
We are clowns, so maybe we should go buy the 80 color palette.
Just put every colour on your face. Just start from the top.
You go to drama class being like, hello, children. Today we're learning interpretive dance. I want you to interpret this.
Dance your whatever. Lip color.
Thank you for... It's eyeshadow first. Second, great contribution, boy.
I have enough natural beauty to work without makeup. Except, of course, should I move on to my week?
Yeah, move on to your week.
Because I discovered...
Oh my god. The fact you have to zoom in this close to show that you have one white hair.
But I have a white hair.
Oh.
You have one white hair in your massive bushel of dark red ginger hair.
Yeah, this is what makes it even more obvious. Because every hair around it is like super ginger. Oh,
you can't see
hey,
it!
I found my green screen.
You cannot see it unless you zoom in super close.
No, but this literally happened this week. So I just was in the bathroom and I washed my hands and I looked up in the mirror and I was like, wait a second, is this a white hair? So yeah, I had
blonde. Of course you're gonna have light colored hair in your beard. Oh my, no. See, before he put the thing on Twitter, he messaged me about it, and I was like. And I was having a serious conversation with him before, and he's like, well, in different news, I'm old now. What are you talking about, Max? Then he takes a picture this close up of his beard, and I'm like, motherfucker, you've had light hair in your beard before. I'm like,
I mean, not that I also sent the pictures that I tweeted earlier to my family, but if I would have, those would have been the reactions. Don't pull it out. Then it will grow 7 new ones.
That's an old wives' tale.
I don't know. It's my old sister's tale, so we come down to the same. My dad is like, there are supposed to be people who color it, but then deny the fact. But then again, I'm not sure who he's referencing because he doesn't, because he just has a gray beard.
There's I think he's just meaning in general because they advertise beard and beard coloring hair dye stuff to men all the time. So
Still fighting with my.
It's got a good name, but I can't remember what it is.
It's not Rogaine. That's the thing that makes you grow hair. But I don't think I care because I have found white hair in the underside of my head before. My family, well, no, it's a thing that my mom is blonde. So it's just the thing. Well, my mom was my hair color, but everyone else in her family was blonde. She's the one ginger child.
Wow.
So it's just the thing of like, I know I'm going to get light colored hair, but my hair is so thick, you're not going to see it because it's only on the underside of my head.
Oh my goodness.
But
Genetics are crazy.
But since people start guessing, everybody who knows, shut up. But how old am I?
Guess, Anna. I know how old he is.
People in the audience also guess how old am I. The resolution next episode.
Really?
I don't know. The people on YouTube should still have a chance to do.
All right. Anna, how old do you think this man is?
Wait, how do you look younger? Wait, I can do this.
Dab like the lick kids.
Need to come and have a look. Oh no. I'm gonna go with what Enigma Prince said.
I mean, you know that I have a white hair now, so.
Most people get white hair in their beards in their 30s, so. My cousin's 29 and he has a whole thing of white hair along with the rest of his blonde bush, so it's like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. Nothing matters in this world. It's all meaningless.
I'm going to go with what Enigma Prince said in the chat. I'm going to agree with him and say 34.
Oh. Was there anything else prolific that happened in your week besides you saying that you complaining about the white hair in your beard?
It actually did, but ironically there is no good story that comes out of it. So on Wednesday, actually, we had a little bit of a after-work barbecue at the company. Where which was labeled Waterhead Barbecue, with the meaning that the Waterheads are the people who do not directly contribute to the revenue of the company. So supporters are not Waterheads because they actually hold our customers. Sales obviously is no Waterheads because they get the money in. Development works on the product, yada yada yada, so on.
But the tech people,
the internal tech people, finance, HR, all those plebs were basically celebrating their own uselessness by making a Waterhead barbecue. And I also happen to be the only present representative of our team. Which then again doesn't really mean a lot depending on who you count to the team. So Yuri is officially gone now.
And Bart has a family.
I was there. And Peter was not there, but he also is not necessarily he dances on many weddings. So he is BI, he is sysadmin management, he is a little bit with finance. He does a lot. So but yeah, he was not there. That's the point. But yeah, beyond that, first of all, I realized that another thing where I'm getting old, or I need to drink more because I'm not used to it. The next day, I'm not a guy who has a hangover, so actually the next day I was like, was fine. I mean, what was it? Oh no, we played HOTS that evening, right? You guys actually got to hear Drunken ANY. But it was
I'm used to it.
But it was only 3 beers and 2 big shots of peppermint flavored or mint flavored local schnapps. But it was also barbecue, so I had a lot of meat in my system before that. But yeah, it was fun. But no big events. Nobody was going up in flames. No.
You just had a chill day.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I mean, even with a bunch of drunken people, it was like, yeah, that's nice. But I was there, standing a little bit by the sidelines with the dude who was on the grill, and we're just talking about meat, and I drank a beer, and then another one, and then I was like, oh, I guess I go home now and play some HOTS.
That's so pleasant. Why are you? It sounds like you're complaining about a pleasant evening. Am I just boring? Because that sounds nice.
Yeah, but it doesn't make for a good anecdote. That's the problem. I have for once.
Just had a nice time.
Yeah, I for once I had something happening in my week, and it's like, yeah.
Do I just go with my week now?
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
Sure.
I've been stalling because my week goes on a serious note, and I don't like that, but it really is the only poignant thing, and it shouldn't be something I'm sad to talk about, but here's the one fun thing. I finally found a use for the aviator sticker I got from Eurofurds, and all my friends in the house hate me now.
Yeah.
Because I walk around with this furry cup now, and everyone's like, because no one
People
else
walking
in the house...
around with furry items, disgusting.
Oh yeah, yesterday
I
yesterday
say woof to that.
Yesterday I was walking around in my Eurofurd shirt and stuff, and I actually had someone compliment me when I went out shopping. They were like, "Where did you get that?" And I was like, because I was at a clothing store, and I was like, "Oh, it was a convention, Eurofurds. It's a, anthropomorphic, Robin Hood, Zootopia and stuff." And they're like, "Yeah," and it's like, well, just imagine that, but as a big group. And they're like, "That's so cool." And like they had a little kid with them, and they were like, "I want that." And I'm like, "Well, when you're older, kid." But that was so that was nice. That was nice. It's nice to see people not being like, "Ugh, why does that thing human-like features? Disgusting." But
I had this before, especially with the Eurofurns shirt. When this one might be a little bit much because of the strong coloration stuff, but Eurofurn shirt, I often got like, "Hey, that's a cool design."
Yeah, last year, the year I came, was a really nice shirt. Do I have it over here?
You mean this year?
Yeah, this year's.
Last year was Egypt. And nobody went
but
for
it's
Egypt.
but 2019 is so close around the corner. It almost feels like last year already. Time is fleeting. We are all finite and mortal. Back in the 90s, but like, yeah, this is such a nice design. I love it. It's such nice colors. It's so good. But no, my week's been interesting to say the least. I have found a psychiatrist and stuff in my area, and I've been going to them and doing all these tests and all this stuff. Fun times. Having to deal with the fact that I just assume that someone scratched all their DVDs in a psychotic stupor. Because in the waiting room, they have a DVD player and a TV. And I'm sitting there, I have to sit there for at least a half hour waiting for my appointment. And they're always playing a movie. Neat. At least twice every movie, there's just this long period where the movie doesn't move and then skips to a next scene. And I'm like, I'm tempted to bring my own DVDs here. And it's always during the best scenes. They had Toy Story playing in the place, and I was like, yeah. And it was the scene where all the toys come alive to Sid, and Woody's like, "So play nice." And I love that scene. And that's where it skipped, and I'm like, I wanted today to be a good day.
What if they skip over the scenes that people might not like?
They skip
in
over
terms
the
of-
scenes that will trigger the mental people.
Yeah.
It's like, I had a delusion of this yesterday.
Okay,
No.
what other scenes in other movies can you recall? We need to verify this theory now.
They skipped a giant fight scene in Night of the Museum 2.
Still fitting.
And
still fitting.
And they skipped when they were playing Free Willy, and it skipped over when they actually Free Willy.
Well, this one doesn't really fit so well anymore with Anna's theory, but still, 2 out of 3 is a good quota.
But anyway, to be on a more serious note, I've gone there and I mean, I've been diagnosed as clinically depressed for a long time, but they were like, "Oh, you have bipolar disorder," and I'm like, "Oh, explains a lot." But no, I didn't like. No one likes hearing the news, but it's also kind of nice because it's like, hey, I'm not crazy. There's an actual chemical imbalance in my head. Hooray! But I just started medication and stuff for it, and that's a first. And
But yeah, I can kind of imagine how it went for you, like hearing that you are bipolar. I can imagine you had mixed feelings about it.
You're lucky I like or But no, I started medication recently, and it's weird. I'm in that adjustment period, so it just saying if in the next few weeks I'm acting a little weird on the podcast, it's not anyone's fault. It's
Probably mine.
No, it's the medication's fault. I'm not blaming you for that. I could blame you for other things. I'm not going to blame you for that.
Come on. I have been blamed for more in your hashtag blame ANY room
server.
on your server.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, it's just I and also I'm going to talk to my doctor about switching medications, and it may just be because I'm paranoid, but I looked up the side effects for this medication. Now, when you take anything that affects your mind, there will be side effects. I'm not comfortable with one that has a side effect of hair loss. Now, to be fair, only 9% of the people that take it have reported that. But, but still, it's a good progress thing. It's not fun, but it's for good progress. And that's what keeps me going. But I have a fun anecdote to offset all of that serious nature. I've been rewatching BoJack Horseman. And I had a
Do I have to
realization.
turn on the spoiler warning?
Yes, turn on the spoiler thing.
So
Wait,
BoJack
where two spoilers?
Horseman,
The newest season.
Season 5.
All of the new season?
Everything.
No, just a specific moment from the new season.
Every single sin. So this is...
You can take out your headphones and we can tell you to come back.
Wait,
Tell me when you're about
wait,
to say it.
You have a visual clue. Give me a second.
Yeah, hold on.
This was... I was not.
I have to say it
prepared
because this was
for
the highlight of my week, telling my friends this theory, and all of them be like, "Oh shit!"
La 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 la.
Okay, so
I'm away now. I'm coming.
okay,
about
so
it.
for people
La,
who
la,
have
la,
watched
la.
BoJack Horseman, and you know the episode where Hollyhock and BoJack go to get drugs from Gina's place, and they grab the wrong bag of pills, and they throw the pills out of the car. And they're like, "Do you think she needed them?" And they're, "What kind of pill does a woman need?" And why did and you hear that Gina makes a very obvious point of, "I don't want you to be the defining moment in my life." And then when I told my friends who watch BoJack this, they were like, "Oh fuck, are they gonna do that?" I'm like, "I hope not." In the only sense of, I don't want that to happen to Gina or BoJack. But yeah, so that was the highlight of my week, is just everyone's reactions. Because I was talking to Sean, and he was like, "Oh fuck!"
Wait, do I have to turn it back on?
Yeah, no spoiler, no spoiler.
Okay,
no
we're
spoilers.
done with
This is just
spoilers,
me talking
okay.
about people's reactions.
Okay,
you
fair,
can come back,
fair.
Anna. You can come back.
This doesn't work a
Come
little bit.
on in. There's no
The
spoilers now.
the evil red signs are gone. The spoilers are
Yeah,
over.
no, I was just saying people's reactions to the thing that I was saying. Because
Okay, good.
I was talking to Sean, and he was like, "Oh, fuck." And then my friend Mr. Phoenix, he was like, "What did you talk to Sean about?" And then I screen capped my conversation with Sean and just put it to him, and he's like, "Oh, fuck." And then I messaged Max at 3 a.m. like, "Hey, I have a theory." And then I messaged all of it, and he was like, "Oh." And then it went into like a good 20-minute texting conversation while he's at work discussing what could happen. We became film fury for a second.
Aww.
Oh, yeah.
I was Keypat.
Aw. I love Phoenix. He's lovely. Is it Mr. Phoenix?
Yeah,
Artist?
Mr. Phoenix.
Aw.
He's lovely.
He's
but
lovely.
yeah, besides that, I've been working on stuff. I have 2 covers in the works. One being Your Reality from Doki Doki Literature Club, and another one being I'm the Bad Guy from Wander Over Yonder, which after I covered it, I was like, why have I not done this before? Because listening to Dominator, I'm like, that's my voice. That's just, she goes into the list of characters that sound like me if I just raise my pitch up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, well, I only voice bad guys and moms for the rest of my life. Because I voiced Celestia and Chrysalis in the Pony Show, and then it's like, now I have Lord Dominator. And we got our friend Michael, who's also guest star of the podcast, to be Dominator when he's in the, when she's wearing the suit and she sounds like a dude.
Oh.
So that's gonna be fun. And I just messaged him being like, hey, can you do a Fred Tasticore voice? I mean... And he's like, what do you mean? You know that voice you did for Roadhog? Do you think you could do that for the Lord Dominator thing? He's like, hell yeah! So yeah, keep on keeping on with that. And Max, why don't you do your media? Because I just realized I haven't picked mine.
Yeah, and I also have not gotten one from Anna. So yeah, my media this week. I also didn't get around a lot. I was considering going to the cinema and checking out, what was it, Happy Time Murders. Haven't really heard of it. Trailer got me chuckling, and the actress is when she's not casted for Ghostbusters, she actually is like a fun person to watch. So, but yeah, not her fault, script fault. Anyways, but yeah, I eventually did not go to the cinema. What is it with non-sequitur anecdotes this week? No,
wait.
But
I know my media now.
But
continue. Just
I spent plenty of time when I was not playing HOTS and stuff and watching series I already talked about. I finally did it. I finished it. I believe I haven't talked about it before on the show. If I have, then that's bad. Did I talk about it before on the show?
Is that you talked about it in your week, but like you never talked about it as a media?
Okay, fair enough. Fallout New Vegas. After nearly 200 hours and I don't know how many years, I finally finished it. And by finished it, I mean like all four different endings. Oh yeah, there are more or less 4 different endings, major endings. Then you have the individual flight cards for certain factions, groups, and people you had personal interactions with and whatnot. And yeah, playing through all 4. How can I describe it without going anywhere spoilery? I guess I can't. I mean, it's not a spoiler about it. If you're familiar with the genre, with the franchise of Fallout, it's all about fucked upness. And
if you don't want to know spoilers for this 8-year-old game,
I know, right? I will not go into details, so you can still experience it, the what I'm hinting at. So I mean, there are gray areas, and they usually, if it's good written, there is no black and white. They have no evil, good. It's especially, I mean, the third, I believe, was a little bit weak in that regard, that there was like this messiah figure of a father you've literally followed everywhere, and you were just reacting to shit. But in Fallout New Vegas, on many ends, you always run into gray areas where you have to make a decision that affects some faction positive, some faction negative, and for the majority, this is very well done. However, towards the end, I mean, it might be my personal fault that I played 120 hours before I even went to Vegas and basically cleared out everything except Vegas. But from my point of view, it felt like, first of all, very, very close to the ending. Suddenly, a lot of options come up. So you are in Nevada, in the Mojave Desert, and most of the time you just run, and this territory is occupied by a military group which is called the NCR. And you run into them everywhere. They are at every corner. They have all the major hotspots, and most of them are pretty cool. They are the decent guys. They're trying to bring law and order and civilization and stuff. And you're like, cool dudes. In theory, there is their other faction, the Legion, that are slavers who crucifix their enemies and set entire settlements on fire. So this is pretty... If you're not a psychopath, you usually side with the NCR, especially because they are everywhere, so if you fuck them off, you cannot go anywhere without getting shot at. And at the other end, you have the Legion, which is barely represented in this entire map, and they are barbarians. So the average player will probably side with the NCR by default. When you reach Vegas, it's like, hey, whatever shit you did, we give you a clean slate, and if you want, you can now join the Legion. What? So, and for shits and giggles, I did it, because I wanted to play all endings. I did it. I went over there, and it's like when you go to the Legion, it's like, hey dude, you caused us endless stream of troubles, and the game actually memorizes everything you do, and it's doing what Mass Effect basically promised, but years earlier and with shittier engine, and they still pull it off better. Like, hey, you did this and this and this to fuck us over. However, you're very determined. How do you like working for us now? Immersion, please come back. I like you. It's like out of nowhere. There is no logical explanation except for that you are determined, that they are trusting you. And the funniest thing is, to work for even a third faction besides NCR and Legion, to work for the third faction, you actually need to either slaughter every Legionnaire you come across, or you actually need to be like, yeah, sure, I work for you. Please, now let me in this high security bunker where I totally will do what you tell me to. It's... And all this feels like on the last few miles of this game. Like, you played all of it and then suddenly this entire chapter opens up where you have now 3 factions. And also... most factions force you to fuck over everybody else. It's like, hey, I built good relationships with everybody. Oh, I cannot progress this game.
Time to kick them in the gut.
I really wanted to go for this, especially the NCR. The NCR was the one that annoyed me the most. So they are pretty cool, pretty chill, they're military and everything, but they're trying to do the right thing. And then you come to this final quest giver, and she's like, yeah... to progress the game and finish and get my ending, kill them and them and them. Those are my friends!
Tell us about the rabbits, Max.
Yeah.
Sure thing, buddy.
Yeah. But where I was going, except for venting about how this...
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Killing my friends for the endings of Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, at the end of the day, actually... Odie. No, the Brotherhood are actually chill. I didn't want to kill
your
them.
dog.
No, the dog. The companions actually can all survive. Yeah, but then you get the end cards, and basically what I praised earlier about gray areas and that it's not black and white, but nearly all the endings, are fucked up ending. I mean, when you join with the Legion, of course it's a fucked up ending because they enslave most people and kill the rest. No surprise that the Legion gets a bad ending. If you go for this, like the house guy, you can join up with basically running all of Vegas. He's the guy who forces you to kill other people without any alternative. But his ending still, except that he's pretty brutal, his ending at least brings stability to the region. Then there is the ending that looks like, the cool ending where you can actually take control yourself. Yeah, basically everything falls into anarchy and everybody dies. Like, what? This was supposed to be the good ending.
Just saying, that's probably the most realistic one.
So I'm stuck with one of the other assholes. Why?
Assholes like assholes.
So at the end of the day, I would say that the NCR is still, even though they turn from nice guys to dickheads. The overall ending is the one where most of your friends have a chance to get away, where most characters have a positive vibe to it. So, but the
just
game
to
is
say,
fun.
people, if you are interested in Fallout New Vegas, there's a sale going on Steam where it's 50% off. So you can get Fallout New Vegas, the base game, for just $5, and the Ultimate Edition for only $12.
Oh, this is actually pretty cool.
It ends on the 24th. So when this comes out on YouTube and you get to this part and you didn't skip over ANY's rant,
you can still get it. And yeah, overall, even so I just ranted a lot, as Keyframe pointed out, it's still a pretty brilliant game. I like it very much. It kept me till the end, which Fallout 3 did not manage to. Only started Fallout 4, so I don't know about that. And yeah, the old games, they are supposed to be really good, but they're so old school and so slow.
I love them. I love the isometric.
Anyways, Keyframe, how about you,
Yes.
Medium? You dropped me one, I believe, so I will just click it.
Guess what started this weekend, fam squad?
I missed it.
DuckTales Season 2!
Is this actually... oh boy, this will get me another...
This is the Season 2 intro, which has Gizmo Duck in it!
Oh, it
Yay!
didn't before.
It didn't before. It didn't have Gizmo Duck in it before,
but
which
looks mostly the
which
same.
makes this objectively better.
But beyond that, pretty similar.
No, most of the changes happen at the end. But so they started Season 2 this weekend, and
I missed it. Damn it!
I'm not going to give a bunch of spoilers, but I'm going to say I really liked it. Mm-hmm. I thought that this was a nice way to start the season. Mm-hmm. I know some people are not. In the case of, when you see a season premiere of an adventuring show like this one, you expect a big adventure arc thing. I mean, the first episode of this series, the mini movie established the whole thing with Della Duck. You don't really get that in this episode. It is pretty self-contained at the end of the day, more internal character arc kind of stuff. But I personally enjoyed it. I don't think it's a good way to... Because I feel like when you have episodes premiering like that, it sets audience members up for an unrealistic standard of what's going to happen in the season. Because let's face it, while they did set that up and the Della stuff was going on in the background, and there were some episodes dedicated to it, most of the episodes in Season 1 were self-contained adventures with more internal character development than the overarching narrative. So I think having an episode like this is like, hey, this is the standard for what you're going to see for a majority of the episodes. Not every episode's going to focus on the moon, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But one of the things that I really liked about the episode is it follows one of my favorite tropes of deconstructing what the constant running gags of a show. And it comes from the character you expect it to come from, but it's so funny. And it's not just in the way of, hey, we're taking jabs at our show. Don't you know, we're self-aware with you kids. Hey, fam. But no, it actually weaves into both the character's purpose and the story in general and the narrative. And I'm like, I don't see shows oftenly do that. I see them doing this self-aware humor just for the sake of self-aware humor and being like, yeah, we know. But I've said this before on the show, just because you know doesn't mean you can still do it. You have to have a reason. And this show actually did it. And it just keeps reaffirming my belief that DuckTales is one of the best, if not the best reboot of a cartoon. And it's just such a good cartoon. And I love it so much. And I can't wait for a new episode next week. But I'll be at a wedding the day it premieres.
Oh,
yeah, which reminds me that this is probably as good a point as I need to remind people, no AWKWARDCast next week.
Yeah, because the Wilstonator has to get married and he invited us. How selfish of him.
I know, right.
But
Baka.
No. Baka. So
Baka.
probably gonna...
It's not like I want to be at your marriage, Baka.
Be at your marriage?
Be at your marriage.
That sounds like a Japanese translation. Wedding. But so there may be a moment that at the reception while everyone's having fun doing the Macarena or whatever you do at receptions, I'm just in the corner watching it on Daily Motion on my cracked phone screen. Being like, Key, why don't you come out and dance? Shh! It's okay, Scroogey. They didn't mean to interrupt you. But, yeah, so DuckTales Season 2 is out. Make sure to keep up with it, because, God, I know none of you have TV, and, y'all, and if they keep doing the airing schedule like they did with the first season, prepare for a long season. I really hope not, because they have already announced Season 3. So, yeah, so there you go. That's my media. Hooray. Anna, please tell me you remembered a media.
Well, I know a media, but
That's
it's
a good
quite a
start.
funny one.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
sure, put it in. You can talk about anything.
Well, I quite like reality TV,
Oh.
and there's
There
a
we
series that has
go.
just come to Netflix called Dancing Queen, which is a series about a drag queen who runs a dance studio in Texas, and it's brilliant.
That is a Mad Libs premise.
It's a drag queen who is featured a lot on RuPaul's Drag Race, which I am quite a big fan of, and I have been for about 5 years now.
I never understand drag queens.
I'm just, but I think one thing that's really interested me about this
That
show
was
is that
painful.
it's
Yeah?
there's like a lot of teaching kids as well, and I think that also appeals to me. And then like in the episodes I watched this week, it was like you have to cast all these children into a certain group, and that's kind of one part of what I do. So I was like thinking I was being like the teacher in some way, thinking like, yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but
But
He looks like Madonna when he's all made up, and it's weird.
he's very, very gorgeous.
but are the children also drag, or are those
No,
actual
they're
girls?
all
Those are real
they're
girls.
all just they're all just
dancers.
yeah.
Okay. He
How
just
it went to your
happened.
desktop for a moment, it looked like that was part of the trailer. It was like
I know.
starring Ferret Man.
I saw that. I was like, oh, but yeah, it's something I enjoy because I mean, recently we had to cast a show for my mum's school. We were doing a production of Peter Pan Jr. in like 5 months, so I had to audition all these kids to sing different Peter Pan songs, and that was a journey.
Oh boy, you can fly! You can fly!
I know. We've got the perfect people for Wendy and Tinkerbell. Peter,
Or
not
the
so
rest.
much. Peter, not so much. Which is kind of a big thing. But yes, that's my honest media this week. I've watched probably about 3 hours of it.
How
So what-
long are the episodes?
No, I think they're about like 50 minutes. I'm not sure.
So you've watched 3 episodes.
Actually, it might be more than that. I'm not sure.
Anna!
So what would you say for what kind of audience this show is? Who should watch it and who should probably stay away?
Trash.
Well, okay. If okay, I think there's different types of people, and I think it's like if you absolutely detest reality TV, nah.
Yep.
However, if there's
I'm up.
some part of you that likes it as a guilty pleasure, or you're kind of like intrigued by it, I'd say yeah, give it a shot. If you like dance, if you like theatre, if you like performance, it's an interesting watch. And if you like drag and you like LGBT and things that are just having a good old time. Oh, my Skype is freaking out. Things that are having a good old time, then yeah, I'd recommend it then.
If you are into gay stuff in the literal sense of gay.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, I have the feeling this show is probably going to be very gay.
how extra is the drag queen that dances?
You just
know
saw
what I-
the trailer.
She
I was paying more attention to our guest than the trailer, dear.
She says stuff like "trust the Duchess" and like I can't even do it.
So talks like RuPaul kind of thing.
No, she's
Worse.
no, no, she's very extra. She's very very extra.
Oh boy.
She's known for like these faces and just like.
Oh, so she's like a reaction face person. The
Yeah,
person people screenshot.
Even
Yeah.
outside of the makeup,
Trust
she kept talking like this.
Yeah.
So it's not just a role, but or then again, it's on reality TV, so she might still be in character even when she's out of makeup. But
It's just I think it's just a heightened thing of yourself when people are in drag, or I think it's anytime like people are dressing up as like different. Well, obviously when you're dressing up as like different characters, you're gonna try your best to become the character, like a cosplay.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
like
you
it's like a
gain
heightened
sense
version of
confidence.
yourself. Yeah.
I could say as a cosplayer, when I'm wearing costumes and stuff, you do get a sense of confidence that you don't usually have, in the sense of, well, I am dressed up as this character, I may as well flaunt it. But
Yeah.
just disclaimer, we have nothing against drag or anything. We take the ribs out of everyone, but you know, it's what you like to do. Fine. I mean, our token boy here has been in drag before.
me.
Men, so just disclaimer, we're cool with it. We'll just make fun of everything. That's how we're egalitarian. But the closest thing I watch to reality TV is the cooking competition shows on Netflix.
Oh, I'm a big fan of the Great British Bake Off. If you've ever
I like
seen
Sugar Rush because I like seeing people. I like all the stuff they make. But yeah, wow, we got through our medias relatively quickly.
That's true.
Except for the 10-minute rant of Fallout New Vegas endings, but who's counting?
I know, right?
But yeah, so I guess it's time for question time. It's the Q&A.
Question time.
Question time.
Question
We
time.
did get a question on Twitter.
Time to ask the awkward cast. Let's see how long their sanity will last. They'll answer anything, both weird and forward, so long as the questions are always awkward. Question time. It's the Q&A. Oh, it's question time. It's the Q&A. It's question time.
The problem is I always only remember to make a 10-second version of it when we are in the show. So I never make the 10-second version of it.
You need to just put it on your MacBook and cut it up in GarageBand when you're over here, because then I can bother you about it. But no, that was Unirob with question time. It's the Q&A where you ask us questions and we may give answers, maybe. But if there's any fan artists out there, I really want someone to draw us in the Adventure Time style with the Q&A thing, because the more and more I listen to it, the more I just think of Adventure Time.
Why Adventure Time?
We actually got a question on Twitter. Thank you, Jammy Jamster, our only Twitter asker at the time. But to ANY, Cosmic Keyframe, and AnnaChloeM, if you had the power to do any one impossible thing out of spite of someone, what would you do and whose face would you rub it in?
Do something out of
Wait, repeat the question.
spite. Ooh.
If you had the power to do any one impossible thing out of spite of someone, so if someone was like, yeah, you can't do that, what would you do and whose face would you rub it in?
I mean, we all know what Donald J. Trump did out of spite.
Oof.
Oof.
But I'll mine keep going back to being able to fly, and I don't know why.
Who made fun about you for flying? I mean, flying off stages. Hey-o!
I know mine.
Oh, what's yours, Anna?
Mine is to do a cartwheel. Because I've been trying to learn how to cartwheel this past
Yeah,
week.
totally.
That should have been my anecdote.
This impossible thing.
It's currently impossible, but
For her.
I'm working on it. I want to go in front of all the people who I've tried to show my cartwheel to and go, I could do it now, and then like never do it again.
What was the thing the girl in the Dragon Prince said? Impossible is just another way to say possible, right? Nope.
No, see, the thing I would do is just something to do it in spite of someone. If someone says shit about me, I want to be able to be like miraculous ladybugs level of acrobatic and be from the other side of the room, do fucking 4 back flips and fly in the air in like 3 circles, land on a skateboard, do a triple ollie, and then come up to him and be like, "You were saying?" Kick a couple blocks of cement in half. That's not really rubbing in their face. It's more like a threat, but it's still just like that extra way of being like, you said what, motherfucker?
Yeah. I honestly, I lack imagination, so I will just stick with the theme of athletics. And because people like to constantly point out how thin I am, so and yeah, I can literally not gain weight.
You turn into Buff Suki.
I wouldn't go that far because I still want to like myself when I look into the mirror. Because this over kind of buffness, no. But yeah, going for, I don't know, a Chris Hemsworth body or something.
I was just imagining you have the ability to change it at will, like a Hulk with willpower, where it's like, look, it's the stick ANY.
Yeah, nowadays you call the Hulk with willpower All Might.
Yeah, so you have All Might's power.
I am basically his thin form.
Except you're not throwing up blood all the time.
Yeah, I hide it well, but yeah, I don't have the hair.
But it's just like, I'm here.
I am here. Fear not. Wait, how do I make the eyes go blank?
I don't. Oh god, that looks.
I am here.
Where's that fan art of you with the freaky Fred face from Courage the Cowardly Dog? That was basically it. But thank you, Jamie, for that great question. That was actually some entertaining answers. Charlie asks on Discord, what was the worst time you've been caught by sudden rain you can remember? And yes, I am projecting. So when is it like, well, it can't get any worse? Mine is a sad one because I was a little kid when it happened. No, I'm not going to go with that one. That one's just a depressing story of a lemonade stand that didn't go well. But
I mean, it's a story from her childhood, so obviously it's depressing.
Ha 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 ha! Joke's on you. My life's always depressing. But no, I guess the worst moment, but it turned out to be funny at the end of the day, was it was my birthday weekend from this year. We were at Universal, and everything was fine. Then there was a drizzle. And the drizzle became rain.
Oh, it did, didn't it?
Yes, and I was just wearing my shoes. I think was I wearing sneakers? I must have been. But fun fact about Chrissy, I barely wear socks because socks just don't agree with my feet. They hurt. But like so, and that's perfectly fine. 99% of the times you're living in California. And then the one day a year in California where it rains. But we were at Universal and it just started raining. And it was fine for the most part, like, because most of the rides are indoor. And then we were in the line for the Simpsons ride. And I just have vivid memories of ANY opening and closing the umbrella as we were moving in the line, just being like, because the tarps on the line had breaks, and no matter where we stood, he would always get a giant drop of water right on his back.
It's a Simpsons ride, I recall now. Memories return.
But the worst part was, I have a very high tolerance of pain, so I don't notice if something's wrong until the very last moment. Guess whose pants from like above the ankle down was completely drenched in water. And when we were getting to the hotel, my legs were freezing cold. And so I had to go. So the first thing that we did when I was in the hotel was just turn on the bathtub and put my legs under the hot water to be like, please, I want to feel again. But I laugh about that because to that it's funny because at the end of the day it was still a really fun day at the park it's memories
true.
you can laugh at. But it's the worst time in the fact of I'm gonna have a fun weekend of amusement parks with my best buddies. It's like, oh, thanks God. I know we're in a drought, but could you wait a few days? So that was my moment. Okay, what about you, Anna?
I'm gonna be really sadly positive and be like, I don't think I remember any sad ones. All the ones I'm thinking about being caught in the rain, I always remember more happy ones than sad ones.
You're in the UK, it rains like
I know.
89%.
So I guess I'm just used to it. So now it's just like, oh, it's raining again, and then that's just normal. Whereas if happy things happen, I just think, oh, and that remembers me. You know, that remembers me. I remember it. Ugh.
Remember me as I'm stuck out in the rain. Oh, well, wow, Anna. You ruined the question.
I did ruin the question.
What about you, Ahinwai? Worst time you've gotten caught in the rain?
I mean, here's the thing. I actually saw it coming. So it's a little bit of a modification of the actual story, of the actual question.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was at work with my bike, and I was like, I can do this. And so, and I have like, because I'm well prepared, I have like a raincoat, and for my backpack, I don't know, this kind of
A cover?
a cover. So I have this kind of stuff. But I was like, I can do this. And I was starting dry. It was still dry, I believe. Otherwise I would have put this stuff on right away. So it started. I was dry. Clouds in the sky, but I was like, fine. I can do this. 10 minutes in, I have like half hour ride home. 10 minutes in, drizzle starts. Yeah, I can do this. For this little bit,
no.
for this bit of drizzle, I don't need to ride. I don't need to stop and put all this stuff on. Another 10 minutes in, the drizzle continues and grew a little bit, and I'm like, well, shit, now I'm already wet. Now I need to power through it.
I remember this.
Then you also know the punchline of the entire story. So eventually, I arrive home. I'm like getting off my bike every step I leave in the hall in the house.
Stairwell.
I leave wet footprints everywhere. Everything is drenched. Like, I made it home in the store on my bike. Man versus nature. I won. So I saw it. So the next day at work, I came home, I threw off all my clothes, had a hot shower, and I was fine. So the next morning at work, getting to my spot, getting my MacBook out, opening my MacBook. There's this kind of fracture on the right end of the screen where the display is kind of not showing properly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my soaked backpack. In the backpack, my MacBook is in a cover in the backpack. So, but the backpack was so soaked that the cover got soaked that it went into the MacBook, and so I went to our tech guys, like, guys, I have a thing with my display. Can you take a look? And they're like, yeah, it's an Apple product. We have to send this in.
Oh no!
Thankfully, this kind of electronic damage is covered, is insured over the company.
Unlike the backpack, it was covered.
See what you did there.
Yeah. Oh my god, I remember
But yeah,
that.
so it was less of getting suddenly caught, but it gradually became more, and I was too stubborn. Let's put it like this.
You stubborn?
I
Oh, shock,
know.
surprise!
I know, right? Let me pick up my coffee mug.
5
Anyway.
days. 5 days.
I've just
Sorry.
remembered something as well.
Oh, go ahead.
I just remembered I do have a bad, sad rain story.
We are all
Depression.
about the
Tell
sad
us.
stories.
It's I know why I didn't remember it, because it didn't happen in the UK. It happened when I was in the US.
Oh boy, tell us, please.
So I was it was like, I think maybe last year or the year before, I was in Florida visiting my nana, and we were walking around because obviously we're English people and we don't really understand the fact, Americans, it's like, all right, we're in Walmart, let's drive 2 minutes to go to the next place. But so we were like, okay, no, we'll just walk there. It's like 10 minutes, that'll be fine. And then we started walking, and basically we walked in the completely wrong direction. We started walking past like this high school.
Ooh.
And then it was like, and I was like, no, it's got to be up here. And my boyfriend was telling me like, no, I think we need to turn back. And I was like, no, seriously, no, it's got to be this way. Look, I'm sure it's this way. Mm-hmm. And we turn around and then we look down the road, and I'm like, because we were trying to find a Wendy's. And like we turned round.
A worthy journey.
We turned around and then we looked back across like where we just walked from, because we did turn around, and then then it started raining at that point. After it was like, oh, there's no hope for Wendy's. And we turned around, and back at the junction it was like, oh, it was literally right across. So we saw it before we were about to take the last thing, and then we walked like 10 minutes in the complete opposite direction.
Well.
And then
This
got
may-
rained on.
I mean, hey, it could be worse. You
It
could be
a lot
going on a
worse.
road trip that's supposed to be an hour and a half long, and it turned into 7 hours long.
Ooh. And you're stuck in a tiny car.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ooh.
Before we get to the next question, I have to explain the context of this.
Yeah.
So, when I was like 7 or 8, I was young.
There we
But
go.
No, this is a funny story, though.
Is it now?
Because it wasn't my fault. Me and my family were taking a road trip to Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Yes, the candy bar actually has a whole town dedicated to it, in the fact that it's only filled with chocolate factories and amusement parks set in Pennsylvania. When they made Hershey, they just made a town for it when they were first producing the candy bar. I love Hershey Park. I need to go again. I miss it. But my Aunt Mo, bless her heart, she printed out the directions, because this was we didn't have a GPS in our car, and this was before iPhones.
Mm.
And so she printed it out on a map site. We were in Long Island. She printed out the starting location in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She picked the wrong state. And we're in this SUV. It's my dad, my mom, me, my Aunt Mo, my Aunt Kelly, who was sitting in the trunk of the car of this SUV. Keep in mind, it's an open trunk, so you can actually see, it's basically a back seat without seats. And my little cousin Stephanie, who at the time, I think she was like 3 or 4, so she was in a car seat. You have 6 people in a 5-person car. And we were like, okay, this shouldn't take this long. It took 7 hours to get there. And then my dad was like, Mo, let me look at the map. Mo, the starting location's in Pittsburgh. And she's like, I love her response. It was like, oh, well, I'm paying for breakfast tomorrow.
Okay.
But it was a great trip, and I just remember me laughing about it because even at the age I was at, I realized the ridiculousness of it, but I was still ignorant to the fact everyone else in the car was so annoyed, because this is just little Chrissy sitting in the car. She has her coloring books, her portable DVD player with Muppets from Space, and and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, and a bag of Razzles. Like, I was in my nice Nirvana state of heaven. Everyone else was annoyed.
And now we finally know how she got this Scooby-Doo madness into her brain. She was stuck in the car for hours with this one DVD.
It was like, it's like,
where are you?
Where are you? No, it's like I either have to watch that or Muppets from Space.
Yeah, so as I said, now we know why you have the Scooby-Doo obsession. It
Especially
was
since-
either becoming madly
Muppets.
intrigued with Scooby-Doo, or watching Muppets in space.
Which, just saying, I've made A&Y watch like the first half hour of that movie, and he
Oh,
was
it was
just confused. It was so bad.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to never watch the whole movie. I would just skip to the end scene because they had a whole musical number where they did Celebration, and I would just listen to that over and over and over again. But yeah, next question. Great tangent though. Enigma says, to Anna, what drove you to voice yourself as Tracer in the animation? Enigma, her natural voice isn't Tracer. And what other voices for video games would you be interested in voicing in? Also, do you think the Overwatch hype and drive is still strong today, as it was when it first came out, or has it waned and overshadowed by better games? I think
Okay.
someone's projecting in that question.
Wait, I might need to take it one question at a time. There was quite,
I know,
The
I
sad
know,
quite a
thing
few
is-
leads there.
Just for context, this is one question, Enigma style. He sent us two others.
Yeah, so okay, let's unpack this.
So this
gift.
conglomeration
Okay.
counts
So
as one.
what drove you to voice Tracer in the Pymations animations? How did that come to be?
Pitching
well,
her voice up a little bit and done.
Someone asked me to voice Tracer before, and before the whole cartoon came out, and they said, "Oh, Tracer's Australian," and I was like, "Well,"
No.
I listened to it, and I was like, "Okay, not really."
I mean,
But,
it happens that people mix up Tracer with
Yeah.
Junkrat. It's a very common mistake.
Because they're both
barely.
trash. Sorry, low hanging fruit. Anyway,
But then I heard that he was doing it, and then so I asked if he needed a voice, and then he did, and he said yes. So that's basically
That was-
what I did.
pretty much what happened with me and Mercy.
No, it was just like I did put myself forward a bit. I was like, hey, I can do this voice, I believe so, and I mean I don't think I'm even the best impressionist of Tracer. I think Elsie does a better one than me, but
Yeet.
I think it was more having fun with the role than anything, than like trying to be super accurate. Trying to be like, I want to sound exactly like. I just wanted to have fun and be that crazy person that he wanted me to be, and I think I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
So, and then the second part of this odyssey of a
This
question
one
is
question.
what other voices for video games would you be interested in voicing in, or would you rather voice in another outlet like TV, animation, animated films, audiobooks? Like, what are things you're interested in voicing in the future?
Okay. Well, I don't know if he means like doing impressions of, or like
I mean, okay,
franchises I'd like to be a part
Yeah,
of.
franchises you'd like to be a part of. Let's
Okay.
put it like that, because that's more
Okay.
creative.
That's more creative. Well, I really like Barbie films. I would love to be, obviously, Disney and Pixar and Barbie. I was pretty much like raised on those. So if I was ever involved in any asset of that, then praise be. But
Praise be.
praise be. Praise be. I also really like I wish I was in Hilda.
Aw. I mean,
That
wish
would
it was
be
Hilda.
great.
you are British enough, so
Yeah,
it
you
could
can
work.
be in Hilda.
I mean, the best.
Hey, Netflix, I know
Yeah.
you watch
Girl
us.
that goes outside and
You know.
I mean, the best.
I'm one of the people that throw rocks at birds.
Yeah, the best role I could get
so
in
mean.
the best role I could get in Hilda would be a troll. So
Trolls don't talk.
yeah, that's the point. They make grumpy noises. They could be German.
I could be a wood person, because apparently the wood person is pretty much the only one there that has an American accent.
I like the wood person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, actually, there was the bird, and he had like a New York accent.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Just a
like,
bird. I
like
can't remember that I'm the great eagle. You know.
I was convinced the bird was voiced by the same person that voices Courage on Courage the Cowardly Dog, but I could not find the voice actor for the life of me. But yeah.
Oh, there's lots of I'm really open to most. Those are like the first three that came to my mind of like, oh, I'd love to do that. But anything, I'm like, it's really sad. Like, I mean, my current dream is not to like voice a main character in a Disney film. It would be to be, if you've seen Frozen, I know Frozen, but if you've seen Frozen, you remember there's one scene, which you probably don't remember, where the little boy goes, "What's happening?" And there's like, the princesses are coming out of the castle. That's what I want to do. Just
You
have
want to
that
be the
one
little
line.
kids?
No, I want to be the one line of the mother being like, "This is where they're coming out now," or just have one line in a Disney film as like a background voice. I'd be like, that would make my life. That's it.
I want to. Yeah, it's kind of like being that horse that no one knows that was in the My Little Pony movie, being like, the princess saved the day! Like that one orange horse with the beard.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I want. But I think there's lots of things I'm a fan of, but like most cartoons and most like animated film franchises, in terms of video games, I can't really think of ones that I play specifically or that I was brought up with that have quite a lot of voice acting in. I can't think.
Yeah.
But I can't think of like a pre-existing franchise that I'd like, oh, I'd love to be in. I'm just open to new ideas and different characters.
New. But also, I guess this can be a question for all of us. Do you think the Overwatch hype and drive is still going strong, or has it been overshadowed by better games? I wouldn't think it's been overshadowed by better games. I think it's just like any franchise that it's gone from its mainstream hype to it now has its core burning audience, you know?
Well, I think Fortnite is the major hype one at the moment.
Probably the one he was hinting at. I mean,
Yeah.
Is it better though?
here's the
I
thing.
played it. I was confused.
I have played Overwatch, but I haven't played Fortnite. And since only my opinion counts, I would say obviously Overwatch is still better.
I mean, Overwatch has cute girls in it, so.
Yeah, where's the shipping material in Fortnite?
Yeah, all they have there is dances and V-Bucks or whatever. I barely know anything about Fortnite. Anyway, to another question, which is not super long. Enigma asks ANY. Ask Awkward. I know it was you, ANY, who caused YouTube to promptly die on Tuesday night for an hour, and I have to ask, what gave you the right to do that? What evil tricks and chicanery did you use to destroy the media platform for over an hour and screw over billions of viewers and content creators, you cheeky, crass, destitute smartass?
Well,
Someone was taking out their aggression on someone.
I mean, first of all, I will not deny it now that I have been called out on it. I mean, obviously it was me. Hashtag blame ANY. But the how will stay a mystery because a magician never unravels their tricks. But the why, well, first of all, it was in the middle of the night, so it didn't affect me personally negative. So I was like, guys, it's.
Time to hit the dusty trails.
Yeah, it's just like, guys, I feel like pissing people off, but I will just listen to their cries in the morning. Good night, shut down YouTube. and having a good night's sleep.
Wakes up in the morning enjoying the coffee, scrolling through all the Twitter,
basically,
the YouTube is dead messages on Twitter.
Pretty much because at this point, YouTube was already back for my morning Philip DeFranco, so... For me personally, everything was fine, and I could just see the suffering of others, and was like, "Oh, look at those people! Oh, their panic! I'm German. This is how I feel amusement. I'm sorry. I just was looking out for myself and having a nice morning. That's it."
What about those nocturnal Germans, like Tricky probably is, like the people that don't sleep?
Tricky's YouTube channel was deleted recently anyway, so he
came back.
he is used to a lot more hardship. But on an actually very similar note to deleted channels and stuff, there was a last-minute question coming in by Kennel Dogwood.
I was about to read it.
Okay, it's
Kennel
very
asks,
fitting.
Yeah, what will the world remember nice spelling, about you after you reach your expiration date? Or do you think that YouTube is just going to purge you after your pass? I don't know if I want my legacy to just be my YouTube videos.
I just wanted to say, you actually produce art and shit. YouTube could delete your speed drawing. That's it. So.
Whoopsie poopsies. But no, I think, if I reach my expiration date, I know that I'm content with just knowing that my legacy and what people remember about me. Because the thing is, I don't care not if the world remembers me. Because to me, that seems like a futile goal. To me, it is more important that you leave good memories with the people you care about and the people in your life that you cherish. And as long as you give them good memories, whether they go first or you go first, you know that you've given someone good experiences. And that's all I want to be remembered for through the amount of time that I last in the sands of time, is as someone who gave people good memories.
That's nice.
You wanted me to be dark and cynical, didn't you, Kevin?
Yeah.
Well, fuck no.
I mean, in your case, it can even be go beyond your person by like, hey, maybe somebody has a piece of art of you hanging in the wall and passing it down. So you actually have, or a T-shirt with your design that gets worn.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Anna, what about you?
Oh gosh. I don't really know. I haven't really thought about that, but like, I think I'm similar in the way of Key, of just being like, I think it's more about the people that you have around you and the impact that you're able to make on people's lives. It's interesting because I mean, like, working with kids, you see, like, I don't choose for these kids to like be influenced by what I say or like look up to me, but a lot of them do, and it's freaky to be like, they act like they don't listen to what you say, but it's interesting to see, if you say something to them, like how they grow from that, or like if they actually listen. It's interesting, but and I think it's just all about staying happy and healthy, and that's what I say.
Okay, now time to bring this down to a cynical point of view with good old Maximilian.
It's what I do best.
Yeah, depression.
I mean, I guess I can just play the question just back to you, dear audience, given that I am already past my expiration date. And no, this is not again about my white hair, which I cannot stop thinking about. No, I mean, I am already a has-been, and people are already forgetting me. And if I wouldn't be part of the TF2 thing, I would completely be down in obscurity.
Where's the Boulevard of Broken Dreams thing that I can play?
But what does it mean, though?
Yeah,
what does it mean in like your head to be a has-been? What does it mean?
The people already forgot about me. They don't remember me.
But who's forgetting you? Who?
His subscribers.
Yeah, for example, I have 22. I have on YouTube 22,000 subscribers. The best I can get is maybe 1,000 views. So 21,000 of them are like poof.
You're not a has-been to that 1,000 though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a similar situation. I've got 19,000 subscribers, and I'm lucky if I get like 400, 500 views on a video.
Give them time. I mean, I believe I saw my analytics the other day by clicking through it, and over the last 30 days, I lost a total of 70 subscribers. So it constantly trickles away. Like, absolute. I did not lose 70, but also gained a few. No. This is already the overall total. My channel is officially shrinking. I personally think it's amazing because I also don't produce too much. So, but it's I
used to think negatively about stuff like that, and I've had to think about why am I feeling negatively about things like that? Because when you create stuff online, you're not, if you're going in like with the expectation of like you're going to have lots of subscribers or anything, or I think anything you put online, you're lucky to even have like another view that isn't you or like a member of your family. And like, even though it's like I've been able to reach people, and like I've been able to have this little group of people who like what I do genuinely, and that's like amazing. And it doesn't matter to me like how big that is anymore. It used to get to me because you see a number, but then can you imagine that number if you had all the people like all in one room?
That would be disturbing.
That was. And what are you people doing in my house?
Exactly.
We're providing an example. What are you doing in my house?
I mean, in all fairness, when one of my videos has like 1,000 views nowadays, 100 views are me anyway, so there are 100 clones of me. But yeah, there's still 900, maybe 800 others are probably also rewatching it. So I still have 700 to 800 people who are suddenly in my flat, and I would have the feeling if
do you want you don't go in my fridge.
I mean, the fridge is big enough, 1 or 2 of them fit in there. But yeah, I would say
Indiana Jones style.
I personally would. I mean, if there actually would be the viewers coming in here, personally, I'm just saying this situation would be really, really awkward.
A and Y and Key say hi to the people in the chat. The meme has seen on this live stream and talk about random crap. It's time for awkward cast. Random guests and funny gags is the awkward cast. Artists and analysis. You do not want to miss the awkward cast.